You look beautiful.
Thank you. Nice to see you again.
G'day and hello beautiful people, it is Milmo here. Hope you're all having a fantastic day, afternoon, night, evening, no matter the time wherever you are. Hope life is treating you well. And it's time for a bit of a Witcher talk. Now, you have been warned, though this video will focus on the love story of Yennefer of Vengerberg and Geralt of Rivia, there are definitely spoilers in this. If you have not played through the Witcher series from Witcher 1 to the newest Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, in particular I will focus on Wild Hunt, being it's the game I just recently played, but if you haven't played through them, there are definitely spoilers ahead, so stop right now. Do not listen beyond this point if you don't want to know the spoilers. Even though I am focusing on their relationship, you will learn a bit of Gus throughout. So basically, when it comes to Yennefer, she is a very abrasive character. She is far beyond a stereotypical fantasy sorceress, you know. She is very abrasive within her attitude and is quite the opposite of Geralt. He is a lot more humorous and down to earth, I guess you could say, in a way. So they are opposites. But in regards to their love is magically bound. Now, you will learn this in The Witcher 1. When they are searching for the djinn, of course Yennefer is searching for the djinn, the powerful magic of the djinn, to remove her sterility. So that's what that's what sorceresses are cursed by, I guess, within this series, is that they are sterile, they can't reproduce. So she wants to remove that sterility. And by doing that, she actually, well, something else. She puts herself in danger, her life is at risk, and to save her, Geralt's wish and use of the djinn's magic is to bind themselves. So they're obliged to live out life together. They got a magically bound love, which I think is why their relationship is so complex and complicated, you know. It's when two people are bound together by something that's far beyond their own choice, but rather, you know, designed and destiny or fate, whatever you want to call it. It's far beyond their own choices, and they constantly keep coming back to each other throughout the Witcher series. So you'll see them both fall into, you know, different love stories with different players. You know, they'll have other lovers, but they will always end up coming back to each other, and their past always find the way back. And I think that is partly due to the magically bound love, and that's a good way to look at it. Now, Yennefer is someone that really, I think, can go either way when it comes to fans of this series. Now, people either love or hate her. Like I said, she's a very abrasive woman, so a lot of people tend to hate that. Her overall personality is very strong, and people tend to love or hate that. Now, I love it. I absolutely love her character, and I think though she is stone cold for the majority of part, if you watch even throughout The Witcher 3 and the rest of the Witchers, her just generally, her dialogue when it comes to Geralt, you can definitely see there is a lot more there than this magically bound love, and she really does care. She does love him. But that's the complexity of this whole relationship, is them trying to form a love outside that magically bound love. Do I think it occurs? Yes, definitely. I think they love each other beyond that magically bound love, which you can, in The Witcher 3, through a DLC, choose to undo that, which I'll talk about a bit later, because that was the most heartbreaking scene for me, and I couldn't do it. I never reloaded a save point so fast, and I was just like, nope, do not touch that, and I just could not do it. But we'll talk about that in a bit. Like I said, you either love or you hate Yennefer, and that's what it comes to. So when it comes to The Witcher 3, you had a choice for Geralt. Like, everyone loves Geralt. He's just, you know, he has such this humble personality. He's so strong yet so giving, and it's hard not to fall in love with Geralt of Rivia. You know, he's just an extraordinary player, and even the player dialogue of him and just the way I guess they just work out this, it's so immersive. His character is so immersive, and they just build it up, and you just fall in love with him. And It's very hard, I think, to see him get hurt so much by Yennefer for some players, and that's why they do hate her, where other players sort of see beyond that. They read between the lines and sort of see that though she is so crude, she does care. And I think that's where you get the love or hate. It's because of the way she is with Geralt. They are opposites, so you do see a lot of arguments and just a lot of differing of views. A lot of the time she won't tell him of her plans and just go along, and sometimes that ends up in more trouble. But like I said, the most complex part of this relationship is them trying to work out whether what they feel is magically or what, and not magically in a good way, but designed, or what they feel is actually in their hearts. You know, it hasn't been put there, but it's rather what they feel. And I think the development of this love story is absolutely brilliant, and they do a great job of it. And it's one of those things, either you're going to see Yennefer's love for Geralt and you're going to see his love for her, or you're not going to see it. And you're either going to see it from the point of view that it's beyond that magically bound tie, or it's not. Now, like I said, I saw this love story as something that developed a lot later. So within The Witcher 1 and so forth, I think it was more magically bound. There was definitely interest there to start with, but it was definitely more magically bound. And then as they developed the love story throughout The Witches, you can see it develops a lot more beyond that, you know, obliged, or that obligation of, we got to live together because I made that wish with the djinn. It goes beyond that. And though they do have lovers in other sections, you know, Geralt, Triss, and so forth, and Yennefer, she's got Krak and all that, they always find their way back to each other. And I like it because I think it's a bit more realistic. You know, it is magically bound, let's look beyond that. It's a bit more realistic that relationships aren't meant to be easy, and they sometimes get complicated. But the thing that shines through for me is that they always find their way back, and though, you know, they're very different in many ways, you can definitely tell they care. And I think that's something that goes beyond something that is magically bound. And I like it. I quite like it. It's, to me, it's a much more realistic taste of what love should be, rather than, you know, we're magically bound and we're going to be happy like a fairy tale sort of thing. This is beyond that. And no, it is fantasy, and it definitely is fantasy. It brings in real life aspects in regards to how complicated relationships can be, and how complicated love can be. So I quite like it. And I quite think their love is a beautiful thing. I think it's gorgeous. I absolutely love Yennefer and Geralt. Okay, your team Yennefer all the way. Like I said, players do have quite a big hate for her. Now we'll come back to what are basically The Witcher 3. You see this development, the love go even further. And what is thrown in the mix is that in The Witcher 3, you are given a choice. You can choose to find a djinn once again and hope, and you can break that decade love spell, or that, you know, that long spell that has these two characters bound together. You can find a djinn and break that. But before you get to that, even if you don't want to do that, you can actually choose to romance Triss, and that's what it comes down to. I was a player that romanced Yennefer. Like I said, it's very hard for me, knowing their history and seeing the development of this love story, not to be on team Geralt and Yennefer. So I'm that all the way. But a lot of players that have a problem with Yennefer and don't think he's right, or don't think she's right for Geralt, definitely went with Team Triss. So you're able to romance Team Triss, which Triss is a much more gentle soul when it comes to Yennefer, and she's someone that I guess you could build a life with kids, and so for, well, not so much kids, but, you know, like the happy story of living in a house, working, you know, the much more mundane life. Yennefer seems to have a bit more, you just don't see that with her. So in the end, you could choose Triss Merigold, which, like I said, she's, I think, in a way, a lot more player friendly for those that don't have a problem with Yennefer's abrasive nature. She would be the choice. So you could romance Triss, and at the end of The Witcher 3, you know, you would end up with Triss, and that's the way it would be. You would end up living together, and she would end up working, and it was all cute, like you in like retirement, and it was all cute and everything. Or you could have romanced Yennefer. It's a bit of a different ending. And this is probably the most interesting part. So, yes, you have the choice. You can choose to leave Yennefer long before you need to go into this extra part of finding the djinn. You can choose Triss Merigold, another sorceress. You can choose to love her, which, you know, you've seen in the previous witches, a sort of history there with Geralt and Triss. So you can choose Triss and just leave Yennefer altogether and have that ending with her. Or you can go one step further with Triss once again, where you hunt down the djinn. And I think this is an attempt to sort of find out whether the relationship, the romantic aspect of this relationship is genuine and beyond the magically bound part. Now, this is the part where I reloaded so quick because this absolutely broke me and I did not like it at all. So basically you hunt down the djinn to break your curse, and you have in this opportunity, Geralt has the opportunity to reject the genuine romantic advances. You have the chance to be unbounded by that magical love, sort of obliged love that you can reject, and do reject Yennefer. And this is the part that broke me. You can tell in the exact moment her heart just shattered into 1,000 pieces, and that was the moment I sort of knew that their love was beyond that spell. It was beyond that magical bonding. It was beyond that. It was genuine. The way she felt for him was genuine. The way he felt for her, though he just rejected her, was genuine. And you see that throughout the series, and this made it all so much more apparent for me. And I never reloaded a save point so fast. I felt horrible. I felt absolutely horrible when I told Yennefer I had no longer felt the same way from her. You know, being one of those players, I was curious to see how things went, but it was absolutely, it was heartbreaking. And it was very much a lie. Like, Geralt does love her, and the moment he said that, it was definitely, yeah, it's not, I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all, so I reloaded. So it's one of these love stories that you have the opportunity of changing, and players have the opportunity of changing it. And this is why this series is so great. It gave you the opportunity to create the ending that you wanted. If you absolutely hate Yennefer's guts, you can end up with Triss Merigold. You can go on and do this, break her heart. Don't do it though, it's absolutely heartbreaking. But if you love Yennefer, you have every opportunity to remain with her, which is also a thing. So it gives you the option. Now, like I said, I'm team Geralt and Yennefer. I just tried the different DLCs and I replayed through to try the different love stories, because that's what you do as a player. And I sort of broke, I broke my little heart a few times with some of the things I did. And you get so entrenched and so immersed in this relationship that it's really hard, unless, like I said, you have this pure hatred for Yennefer, to actually break these two up. Because though they started their relationship off on the boundaries of, we're magically obliged to each other, we have to love each other sort of things, you see them stray from that with other lovers. They actually genuinely love each other, and there is a romantic texture to their love that you don't see with Trish. And definitely, when you come into the scenes that are a bit more 18 plus, you see a lot more affection when it comes to Yennefer and Geralt rather than Triss and Geralt. But that's how it goes. Like I said, I absolutely love this love story. It's something that has this complications in it and this complex nature to it, but you see the love that does shine through, and it's not easy, and it sort of shows that opposites can attract. And I absolutely love the love story. They definitely got it right. And finally, I think even if you think about it in the aspect of Geralt of Rivia being this father to Cirilla and Yennefer being this mother figure to it, it's very hard to split these two apart, and it's very hard not to see the relationship that's there and the love that's there between them. The history within itself is the reason why I went with the Yennefer and Geralt love story and the ending in Witcher 3. It's just hard. It's very hard. Like I said, you get so entrenched within this relationship and this family, this trio of family with Cirilla, Geralt and Yennefer, the doting parents trying to save this child, this girl that has been a child figure to them. It's very hard to then turn around and just abandon all that and go with either Triss Merigold or choose to break Yennefer's heart. It's hard to do that when they go through so much together. Even in The Witcher 3, if you think about all the stuff they go together to save Sorella, it's very hard to then split them up and, you know, to deny that sort of affection and that history they do have together. But please do let me know what you think about the relationship and whether you went with Triss. I want to know people's reasonings for going with Triss and so forth. But as always, I do thank you for watching. I hope you did enjoy, and always remember how awesome you are. Bye.
Days of light when the world is getting darker. I have a dream where love's the only side. So take my hand, join the army of the shadows.